Yo, it's Dorak here. And first, I want to say thank you to everyone who has commented or messaged me or popped over into my stream over at twitch.tv/DJDorak and have said the many kind things in response to the recent videos I've made about Lost Ark. Not just for the support on the videos, but it does seem like prompting larger scale discussions like this has made AGS respond to some of it, which is a step in the right direction, I would say. So today, I want to go over the roadmap a bit and what's going to come for Lost Ark, as well as the recent AGS response to the ongoing topics we've been talking about in my videos. AGS does seem to have responded, and while it's obviously not solely because of my videos, I think the ongoing discussion around pain points in the game is prompting them to do something, which is a good step in the right direction. So let's go over a bit about what their response was. They start off by going into the gold and material nerfs that KR received and that I brought up in my last video. They've echoed the sentiment that our economy is not the same as KR's, and that implementing these too early would only harm player progression. They didn't give us a real specific on when or if these would be coming, but it's fair to speculate that they've considered this and we won't be seeing these nerfs in the next couple of patches. They've also brought the advanced toning nerfs to the April update, which I assume is coming on the 23rd of April because that's when the Guardian event is ending. This nerf is going to be reducing the amount of silver and shards to temper a piece of gear for stages 1 and 2 by 20%. Stage 1 would be 1 through 10 advanced toning, and stage 2 would be 11 through 20. Tempering is just putting the scales or the eyeballs in order to actually start doing the advanced toning though. The required honing materials to do the advanced toning is being reduced by 50% for 1 through 20, but this does not include the silver or shards. Silver and shards for advanced toning will be reduced by 20%. I've made this graphic here to help visualize this if it seems confusing at all. They are also nerfing Transcendance cost by about 1/3 or 33% for both armor and Transcendance. This includes both the restoration cost if you fail and need to restart, and the cost for doing the Transcendance when you're actually clicking the button. These new costs I've put on the screen for you here. Personally, I think Transcendence should just cost silver at this point. More and more gold sinks are being added into the game with each patch, and I don't think we need to continue to keep all of them. But this is a positive change, because Transcendence does still cost a decent amount of gold for anyone that's still working on it. And the advanced honing changes will surely help some people hone their alts to 1670 for more brels, or depending on the price of materials we could see more positive pushes towards 1660. Both 1660 and 1670 unlock a new raid for players, so it's a good thing to get players further into tier 4. I think everyone can agree that it's strange to have a system that came out in tier 3 that carried over into tier 4, but then it became not worth touching in tier 4 until several content patches into it. So if the barrier to entry for advanced toning is reduced and actually helps players progress further into tier 4, then this is a positive change all around, and I'm glad AGS was able to bring this to the April update. However, this doesn't touch the tier 3 Deadzone that I've been bringing up in my last videos, and many others have in the comments. However, AGS does touch on this slightly in this post, so I'm going to skip down to where they did. They've recognized that there is an obvious pain point in 1600 to 1620. It's costing players sometimes upwards of 400,000 gold just to get to tier 4 while earning close to nothing from doing solo raids. And AGS has said that they can't share details on how they plan to address this though. And I think this is because of two reasons. They don't completely know, or they don't want to spoil anything, and they also don't want to bring something to the Western game that's going to upset KR. I think that Smilegate has a tendency to dance around giving Global more stuff because of KR being upset that they didn't get it. And unfortunately, we don't get nearly as long in content patches to prepare for the next raid, and we're perpetually behind in the development cycle. But if KR would be upset to get more stuff implemented for the tier 3 Deadzone, then I would assume they're pretty fed up with it as well, and the change then should be global. So maybe Smilegate should listen to AGS and the global community on this one. But we didn't get much else addressing the tier 3 grind for right now, but it was at least recognized by AGS, and what I would expect is that AGS will feed more materials for this Deadzone in the form of events since it seems like it's the easiest and fastest way they can implement any kind of change to this point right now. So again, I would say this is overall pretty positive. If we get more materials and ways to help progress characters out of tier 3, it would just be good. I will comment that if it's solely in the form of events though, these events need to impact more than one character for new and returning players. If new players are still only able to get one character up per event, it's still taking way too long to have a roster in tier 4. This isn't just a problem for dailies and material farming. It's a problem because if someone is just really enjoying the game and they're new or they're coming back, but they run their 3 raids on their 1 tier 4 character they got from the current event on Wednesday, what do they do for the rest of the week? They just log on and do dailies? Do we expect players to start a character from scratch? Or are we hoping that they're going to spend $200 on power passes? Personally, I think if an account has a Makoko leaf, progression events for players should allow you to complete it for one character, receive the final rewards, and then restart the event on a second character and get the progression materials to help hone it. You can keep the final rewards as a one-time claim, but the one character just isn't enough anymore. This is my opinion, but I've heard others feel like it would be a positive change as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Outside of the honing stuff, they talk about the gem change that was talked about on the KR livestream. We don't really have specifics on this, but there was some community speculation that they wanted to make gems roster bound. That does not seem to be what they were saying at all. It seems like they want to make it possible to swap gems between classes easier because there's a growing number of people that are choosing to play multiple of the same class in order to share gems. I've given what I think is the most ideal situation here in my last video, but I actually thought of a way that I can make it even better. I think they need to remove the association of a skill on a gem first, and then as we equip the gems, they appear in a menu in our skills UI where we can then equip them onto the skills that we want, right next to the runes. You could easily have presets for doing this, and there would be no need to reroll gems ever. We could just move our gems from one character to the next and put them on, and we're good to go. I really hope that they don't get lazy with this and just simply make gems free to reroll, or that you can reroll them and select which skill is on them. This would make it incredibly annoying to gem share between multiple classes. The amount of times that I'm running a raid and it works out better if I play a different class for this run and then I swap last minute is very high and very likely for many people. Imagine if every time you want to go raid on a character, you need to put all of your gems into your roster storage, swap characters, pull them out, and then you have to go re-roll them for all of the skills that you use on that class. And it's 11 gems. I know that I would need to keep a spreadsheet for which skills I needed to re-roll the gems to. I really hope that's not what they do, and they actually need to make this system better. If it crashes the gem market, who cares? Honestly, I know I'd personally rather have a good, fun game to play where everyone has level 10s than an annoying game with systems wasting my time. Also in the post, they said Global will be receiving the most recent KR balance patch in the April update. Pretty sure this was also targeted at me personally and my 10 Deathblades, but overall this is good. I'll put a link in the description for the patch notes because a lot of classes were being adjusted notably, a small nerf to Deathblades, some Wild Soul nerfs, I think Gunslinger buffs, Summoner changes. It seems pretty positive, but I haven't seen the numbers in game personally to know. It also seems like, unfortunately, German and French localization will cease, pouring one out for the remaining German and French players, but AGS has said it seems like it's just not worth the cost anymore for localization, and that's going to begin with the May update. And bus advertising is still banned in Party Finder. I feel like it was kind of obvious when they said don't advertise buses in Party Finder, or that it would also include advertising without directly saying that you're busing. Just keep it in Discords because AGS is looking to dish out more severe punishments for this going forward. I'm not putting a personal opinion on this one much further. AGS said they're going to ban you for advertising in Party Finder, so don't advertise in Party Finder. And lastly, we have a looking ahead post. which it seems like on the points given here, we're looking at hopefully more mats to get characters out of tier 3, advanced honing and transcendence cost nerfs coming in April, and hopefully some information on the gym change soon. I'm glad AGS made a post like this at a bare minimum, recognizing the issues myself and many others have brought up recently. I do think a lot of the language used in this post is sourced from videos and comments and people letting their voices be heard, so it's good to see AGS recognize the community. I do hope they continue to do this. I very well understand that players are definitely not always correct though, and I've seen plenty of times where game companies fold to half thought out player decisions because they haven't thought of anything else and feel it's the only solution. This happened in WoW a number of times, but I don't think that means that players are regularly wrong. And I think the best ideas come from a collective thought, so regularly getting player input and then communicating why/how that might be good or bad is generally always better than just staying silent. So I hope this kind of communication continues, and more so, I'd like the community to be able to engage a little more with some of the discussion firsthand with AGS. But let's also talk a bit about what we know for sure is coming to Lost Ark. AGS has posted the roadmap for the next few months of content, and there's some pretty cool stuff in store. Starting with April, we're getting 2 progression events, the advanced honing nerfs, the class balance patch, a couple quality of life things, and a new art pass. Based on the name of the progression events, I assume that one of them will be a character specific honing event, and the other one will be a rewards claimed for completing challenges or raids. If this is the case, I'm hoping that the character progression event is usable on characters between 1580 and 1660 and offers support all the way up to 1670. It might not, it might be similar to what we just received and stop at 1660, but I'm hopeful for further support past 1660. Shield damage is also going to be calculated into the MVP screen, so all those DPS goblins out there can't be holding their skills until after the shield ends in Gate 1A gear. Attack patterns that pull or push your characters will slow down when using skills. I have no idea what this means, to be honest. I think this is like in Gate 2 Behemoth when you're getting sucked into the middle breaking red crystals. If you're using a skill, it will suck you slower. And strongholds are getting like buttons. Neat. Then in the May update, we're getting Remeria and the Act 3 Kazaros raid Prelude. Remeria is a new continent for the Yaz. There's going to be a main story, new report, new adventure tome, all the usual stuff that comes with a new continent. The item level 1700 Curzan and Guardian raid Drex Talus will be available, as well as a 1700 Chaos Gate and a new cube tier. And Fade Embers are going to be dropping from the 1700 Curzan, and Guardian are going to have a chance to have a relic book in them. Not sure if it's going to be a chance at a random relic pouch, or if it's just going to give you a relic book, if it's going to be tradable or non-tradable, or if there's going to be a chance at a non-tradable selector. But at a minimum, we'll be able to see a new source of relic books coming from Fade Embers. Also, K-pop skins. The Kazaros Act 3 Prelude is going to be the story before the raid. It's coming out 2 weeks before the raid does, so it seems like the May update will be on the 21st of May. So that the raid comes out on June 4th. I'm assuming that because that's when the Makoko Bootcamp event ends, and they've said that the June update will be in 2 parts. Part 1 will be the Act 3 raid coming out. This is a raid at 1680 for normal and 1700 for hard mode. Hard mode will have the frontier system that existed for Brel, so we'll see steady nerfs and most likely a neat reward if you clear it while it's still unnerfed. Completing this raid gives you access to materials used for advanced honing 20 through 40, similar to the Echidna eyeballs. And the second part of the June update will come probably 2 weeks later and come with the postlude story, some Western exclusive skins, as well as a mount and a pet, and Yornujan Island. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Yornujan Island is an island where the Yaz train, and you will go there every single day to get a daily chore that gives you corn as an exclusive currency for that island that lets you buy things from a merchant there. There's like mats and stuff. And that's about it. It does seem like there are positive changes coming for Lost Ark, but I think it's totally reasonable to still question some of the responses given since we still don't have a lot of details yet. We do have one thing to look forward to though, or possibly two things to look forward to. There's going to be an announcement on Female Pally soon. It'd be really nice to have a global release for this class. I can say I'm at least excited to have a time frame on when the new raid is coming out. And I'm glad AGS at least recognizes that Tier 3 is super painful. I'd love to have more players to get further into the game so that I can enjoy more raids with all of you guys. I definitely will continue to be critical if the changes aren't good though. But I have to stay positive for now, and hope that good things are coming since they've at least addressed a number of complaints that the community has about the game. I would really like to see some more variety in gameplay though, or more choice on what characters I actually want to raid on. It definitely feels bad at times to run all of my mains raids on Wednesday and be forced to play alts for the rest of the week. I'd like this to be brought up as well, because I know I'm not alone. I really want to see new and returning players have access to more characters through events. It's crazy that I've met people that are making multiple accounts just to use the event more than once because they want to play the game, but they literally can't. And I'd really like this Tier 3 Deadzone addressed sooner than later. I'm sure the extra tab specifically for Tier 3 mats in the current event shop was already trying to do that though, so I hope AGS recognizes that if they plan to inject more Tier 3 mats to people through events, it needs to be a considerable amount more. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the response from AGS, or how you guys feel about the roadmap, or what you're not excited for or what you are excited for. Was it enough to give you some hope for the game? But for now, thank you again for all of the comments and the kind words recently. I'm currently working on a couple guide videos focused to help out new players, and we'll continue to keep people up to date on what's going on. So until next one, dudes. Peace.